Hello, and welcome back to Spaces or Laces. I'm your host, Jeff Meyer. It is September 7th, Friday, one day before Pitt Penn State 2018, being played at Heinz Field. Just want to continue on with the best of Pitt versus Penn State players today. We're going to highlight receivers and tight ends. Just want to lump them in together. That way we can go over some of the best players on offense. Unfortunately, should have started this last week. Could have went through every position by position and included the defense. Unfortunately, came up with the idea this week. So we're going to finish it off here Friday before game day with the receivers and tight ends. Going to highlight the Penn State players first. After looking into it a little bit and doing some research, the best receiver ever for Penn State have to be Bobby Engram, and the best tight end ever, Kyle Brady. Both had great NFL careers. Unfortunately, neither won a Super Bowl. Bobby Engram ended up playing for the Seahawks, and I forget where he went after that, but he lost a Super Bowl with the Seahawks to the Steelers, that 2005 Super Bowl. Kyle Brady ended up being drafted by the Jets, ended up playing for New England and Bill Belichick, and lost in that 2007, I believe, Super Bowl, Giants versus the Patriots. So both had great NFL careers. Neither of them were able to obtain that Super Bowl championship. But want to go through some of their college stats real quick. Bobby Engram, 167 receptions, 3,026 yards. I think that says 27 touchdowns, 21 touchdowns. He was also 2019 College Football Hall of Fame ballot. So this upcoming season, he's going to have a chance to be inducted to the College Football Hall of Fame. At Penn State, he was a three-time All-American. He was Kerry Collins, who I mentioned on Wednesday? Kerry Collins, what I believe to be the best quarterback ever at Penn State. Bobby Engram was his go-to guy. Kyle Brady also played with them, which is kind of interesting. You have three of the best Penn State players ever all playing together there on the same team. Going through some Kyle Brady stats, 76 receptions in college, 940 yards, 9 touchdowns. Pretty solid there too. But then when you consider them stacked against the Pitt players, best all time, receiver has to be Larry Fitzgerald. The Larry Fitzgerald and Mike Ditka. Mike Ditka has his number 89 retired at Pitt. Going through some of their college stats, 161 receptions, 200, yeah, that'd be really bad. 2,677 yards, a 16.6 yards per catch average, 34 touchdowns. That's Larry Fitzgerald. And he put that up in 2 seasons. I remember, if anyone remembers watching him at Pitt his freshman and sophomore year, he was electric. He made plays that no one in the country could make. He made plays as a freshman no one in the country could make. And then obviously he went on to, and he's continued to have one of the best NFL careers ever as a receiver. And then I just want to talk about Mike Ditka. 45 catches in college, 730 yards, 7 touchdowns. Everyone knows the legend of Mike Ditka. Won an NFL championship, a Super Bowl, coached 2 Super Bowls. One was as an assistant coach for the Cowboys, the other head coach of the 85 Bears, the legendary 85 Bears. Now, just want to talk a little NFL career, throw out their stats and stuff. Larry Fitzgerald played 14 seasons in the NFL. This season is his 15th year in the NFL. He was drafted in that 04 class with Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning, Phillip Rivers. He was in that draft class. So far in his NFL career, he has accumulated 1,234 catches, 15,545 yards, and 110 touchdowns in the NFL as a receiver. There's hands down, without a doubt, is going to be a Hall of Famer in the NFL. Also, if he hasn't been already, in the College Hall of Fame as well, especially for what he did this 2 years at Pitt. It was unbelievable. But Larry Fitzgerald, he's leading in the top 3 in most all categories receiving for NFL history, right behind Jerry Rice and a couple. I forget who's number 2, but this year I believe if he has a pretty good season, he might be number 2 all time in receptions behind Jerry Rice. So Larry Fitzgerald, one of my favorite players growing up at the receiver position. It's crazy. I remember the Super Bowl, Steelers, Cardinals. That catch he had was, I believe, if I remember correctly, it was a slant pass late in the game, down the middle, beat Ike Taylor, and took that thing like 60 yards to a touchdown. I thought the game was over, but as we know, Ben Roethlisberger drove the field, had that amazing hook-up catch with Santonio Holmes in the back of the end zone. If it wasn't for that amazing play, Larry Fitzgerald would have a Super Bowl win and a Super Bowl MVP. But as fate willed it, Big Ben drove the field. Santonio Holmes kind of stole Larry Fitzgerald's Super Bowl and his glory in that moment. But Larry Fitzgerald, man, I think after that season, that was the year Larry Fitzgerald shared the cover with Troy Polamalu of the Madden. I think it was a 2008. Does that sound right? 2008 Madden cover. But yeah, Larry Fitzgerald, one of the best, most electric college football and NFL players ever. In his 15th season, he's still one of the top fantasy receivers in the 2018 season. Very high pick in fantasy football to this day, which is amazing at the receiver position. But when you compare the positions of receivers and tight end, you have two Hall of Famers in Larry Fitzgerald, Mike Ditka versus Bobby Engram, Kyle Brady. Easy there. Pitt's taking a check mark. So at quarterback, running back, receiver, and tight end, Pitt across the board check marks with each best player. But also, I don't want to degrade Bobby Engram or Kyle Brady, both phenomenal players. Kyle Brady is more of a blocking tight end. He had a very successful long career. Same with Bobby Engram. It's funny, actually, Bobby Engram, I think it was 2012 when I was still on the Pitt football team. He actually was our receiver coach. I've met him personally. Great guy, great coach, just a down-to-earth, great human being. And then, had a very, very successful NFL career. Not quite the career that Larry Fitzgerald had. I want to run through some of his NFL stats. 650 catches, 7,751 yards, 35 touchdowns. That's a hell of an NFL career, but doesn't quite stack up to Larry Fitzgerald, who's basically doubled him in every single category there, if not more than doubled. Then Kyle Brady's career NFL stats, 343 receptions, 3,519 yards, 25 touchdowns. Very respectable, especially for a blocking tight end. Comparing that to Mike Ditka, 427 receptions, 5,812 yards, 43 touchdowns. Mike Ditka, a little bit more of a receiving tight end. When you consider the different eras, they used to run the ball a lot more back when Ditka played, but still, for him to have those kind of numbers, being primarily a blocking tight end himself, is amazing. So you got Mike Ditka, won an NFL championship, a Super Bowl championship, and coached in 2 Super Bowls compared to Kyle Brady. Checkmark Ditka, checkmark Larry Fitzgerald, and checkmark Pitt, winning every major category all time against Penn State. It's one of those things when you compare such a two historic programs like Pitt and Penn State, it's kind of amazing that Pitt sweeps the board on the offensive side of the ball. Every major position, quarterback most important position, running back, receiver, and tight end. It's honestly amazing that at every single position we've had better all-time great players than Penn State. Considering, Penn State loves to talk shit, especially on Pitt, because in recent years Pitt hasn't been a high-profile, great program that has been known for ever since its existence. Considering Pitt is a 9-time national champ, compared to Penn State's 2 claimed national championships. I know Penn State has 5 unclaimed national championships, but hey, last time I checked, 9 is greater than 7, and Pitt is greater than Penn State. That's everything I got for the best of positions on offense. Tomorrow, we're going to be kicking off Pitt Penn State at Heinz Field. It's an 8 o'clock game on ABC. We're going to have some tailgating things tomorrow. I'm going to try to stream some stuff on Periscope, little tailgating activities, festivities. Also going to go around the crowd, some people I know personally, some strangers, see what their predictions are for people in support of Pitt and Penn State. Should be fun. Going to try to do some streaming inside Heinz Field, but as many of you know, if you've ever been to Heinz Field or any big, large NFL or college football game, sometimes the cell phone reception isn't the best. Sometimes your battery likes to die on you. So hopefully we can get enough videos out, and hopefully my battery lasts long enough the entire game to get some good footage and some videos. But hey, it's been fun. This is Jeff here on Spaces or Laces. Check us out, Southbound Sports, Spaces or Laces podcast. Been fun. Let's go Pitt.